Our Black Friday, when we have our sale, we already got the pre-sale with 300 things on it.
There you go.
And they are good 300 things. Like the good 300 Spartans. Those guys were awesome. Our items, the pre-sale, are the 300 Spartans of the internet. You can pick up an airsoft gun, you pick up a paintball gun, you get out there and you're home, you're testing it, and something goes wrong. It doesn't fire right, and your veins are popping out. You're like, so to avoid these frustrations, helpful hints for new gear owners are coming up. Well, guys, Black Friday is here, and that means there's going to be a lot of sales on, and a lot of people picking up their first markers and tanks and things like that, moving up from the very basic stuff that they start out with into slightly more advanced stuff. And with that, I figured I would throw a few points your way just to help you get into the swing of things and get in the game as quickly and safely and easily as possible. And this will pertain to both airsoft as well as paintball. We're sort of bridging the gap here, joining hands in the time of giving and whatnot. So, okay, first thing we're going to talk about is batteries. Batteries apply to a wide variety of both airsoft and paintball guns, and the rules are fairly similar for both. One, make sure it's a high quality battery. Make sure it's fully charged. Make sure it's actually in there. Some markers, paintball guns, come with batteries in them. A lot don't. So the number of airsoft guns and paintball guns that come without batteries vastly outnumbers the ones that do. So just assume yours does not have one. With airsoft, you have your nunchucks, which are your most commonly used ones that we carry, the 9.6 volt. You do also have LiPo batteries. Now, LiPo batteries are lithium polymer. They have typically a much higher amperage, and so they cycle a lot faster. So you want to make sure that you're getting the right ones for your gun. But for now, we're just going to talk sort of generally about them. You want to make sure that your batteries are fully charged. Airsoft batteries don't always come fully charged from the factory. So when you pick up your batteries and your gun, make sure you also get yourself a smart charger. The smart charger, when you plug it in, will have a little light that displays that it's charging, and that's typically red. And when it is done charging, it turns green and actually shuts off the flow juice into the battery so you don't overcharge them. Simple chargers don't do this, and so you have to be much more careful. You have to monitor the charging and whatnot. But smart chargers are the way to go because they, as I said, they just shut off. So make sure that A, your batteries are fully charged. They are high quality. We don't sell low quality batteries. And so then make sure they're also in the gun, because some people get it and they think, oh, it's going to work, and why isn't this working? But stay calm. That's what we're here for. Failing to use a fully charged battery of any kind in your airsoft gun can typically result in the same problem. And what that is the piston will get stuck just shy of the release point. And the spring tension will be so high that the motor won't have enough energy to compress it any further. And you'll just get stuck and you'll pull the trigger. You hear a little click from the motor like it's trying to work. It will appear like something is wrong, but it's actually just sort of stuck, and you'll have to bring it into me and I'll pull the anti-release or the anti-reversal latch, and then it'll pop forward and then you'll be good to go. But unfortunately, that is service, which is not covered under warranty. So it is important to remember you're using a fully charged battery in your airsoft gun. Most paintball guns take a 9 volt, and you want to make sure you're using a high quality, and I'm not being a shill here, brand name battery. There's a reason that the brand name batteries are more expensive. It's because they perform better. You'll see this most notably in a Tippmann gun. Tippmanns have a very high demand because they have a clapper solenoid. They just need that high source of juice. Tanks. I get the odd call from folks that have just received, they purchased online, mostly a tank, and, they drop it on their marker, and it won't cycle, it won't fire. They just, it doesn't seem like it's working. I think the tank is faulty. The tank is empty. We can't ship tanks filled, be it CO2 or HPA. So be aware of that when you get it. If you have an HPA tank, it's very easy. You just look at the gauge. It'll tell you if it's at 0, it's empty. You just got to get into your field or your local store and get it filled up. On sale day, like Black Friday or Boxing Day, the stores are very busy, and the staff are actually told not to fill tanks because it takes them away from the floor where we need as many people as we can get. So on sale days, we are not able to do fills on the spot. So what you can do is bring in your receipt and just say, hey, I bought this on Black Friday or Boxing Day or Easter or, whenever we have a sale, and we'll give you a fill. Following in the vein of gas and propellants, we're going to talk about green gas mags a little bit. They obviously don't come full either, but there is a bit of a process to filling them for the first time if you're not sure of what it is, and we're just going to go through that right now. So you take your green gas, and like CO2, this is a liquid which will expand into a gas. So it expands and fills best, it fills best into a cold repository. Heat or even room temperature will cause it to expand from liquid into a gas faster. And what you want to do is you want to slow that process down so you get as much liquid in there as you can. So your mag here will take your green gas, so a little bit more. Now you should feel the mag getting a little bit colder. Now you should be able to get a good fill. Filling. I wish there was a song about filling I could sing. So now you've got a good fill in here, and you should get more shots out of your magazine. Fill, purge, and by the time you're done, wow, that's cold. So by the time you're done, you should be able to get a good amount in there that'll allow the gun to give you some good performance. All right, testing at home. Everybody wants to. You get home, you got your gun, and be it Christmas morning, your birthday, or just Cyber Monday, you want to get out and you want to try this thing out that you just bought. With airsoft guns that are designed to obviously mimic real firearms, it is very easy for somebody who does not know what you have, that it is not a gun, to mistake it for one and react in an unfavorable way, shall we say. So if I were you, for as far as testing an airsoft gun, I would dry fire it once or twice, no more, just in your house to make sure that it works. Otherwise, if you want to shoot it, I would go to an actual facility, indoor or outdoor, and bring your BBs and your gear and go test it under safe, supervised conditions. It's just not worth it to risk having somebody call the police, one of your neighbors who is not aware that it's not a real gun. They just see somebody out there waving around what looks like an AK-47 or an M16, who knows what, and next thing you know, SWAT's at your door. There's a fellow I know who was a customer of ours who was testing, it was actually a paintball gun. It was called the BT Delta Elite. Looked like an MP5 with an SD shroud on it. He went out into his backyard with a remote line and a low-profile hopper, and he was testing it after I prepared it for him, and he wanted to make sure the modes were right. And one of his neighbors called the police, and SWAT showed up at his house. For both paintball and airsoft, as far as transporting your mil-sim guns or just general airsoft guns to the facility from your home over to a friend's house, anything like that, you definitely want to keep it in an enclosed container, be it a gun box or a gun case. Very dependent. We carry them in various sizes depending on the size of your gun. We carry pistol ones, we have big ones for long guns, and it's definitely a worthwhile thing to look at. So again, nobody sees you walking around with a firearm in your hands and they call the police. That's not hassle you need. So firing up your gear for the first time, pun intended. What we're going to do is I'm just going to quickly run through the basics of how to gas up and cock a basic paintball gun as well as a basic airsoft gun. Both pretty simple and shouldn't take long. First, airsoft. This is sort of a standard M4 style. Battery connection on these is out front here. Take your nunchuck battery, which, as I said, fully charged. Connect it. And again, you have your safety. So you have semi and full auto. We are just going to have this in semi. And always double check, mag out, nothing in the breech there. Don't point it at anybody, either at the ground or up, and no problems. When you're done, disconnect your battery, and that's all there is to it. These are very straightforward to use, and if you run into any problems, it's typically 9 times out of 10, it's a low battery, and what's happened is your piston has gotten stuck, as I said earlier, and it's just the spring tension is too high for the motor to turn it. Now, paintball is a little bit more involved. This is sort of a common design here. This is a Tippmann Cronus, and so what this is what's called a blowback. And the blowback markers, Spiders, A5s, 98s, the TPN series, your Sierra ones, Bravo ones, as well as the Cronus here, they need to be cocked before you gas them up. So, safety on, barrel bag on, hopper off. I know there's nothing in the breech. Cock it back. What that does is it takes the tension off the valve so it doesn't leak down the barrel when you first gas it up. Threading in your tank is something you need to get used to. So you want to be gentle because this should happen easily. So what I like to do is back it out until you hear it click out of the threads like that, and then you go the other way. That will ensure that you're not cross-threading it. Now this should be easy. You should be able to do this with 2 fingers. If it gets stiff or you can't do it, you got to work at it. You're cross-threading it, back it out, double check to make sure there's no damage to the threads on the bonnet or inside your ASA here, and clean them out if you can. If not, if you notice there's actual crush damage or something like that, bring it back into the shop and we'll have a look at it. So this should go in until you hear a little hiss. There it is. Now that's the gas getting in. So you want to give it a little bit more of a turn. You won't be able to go far. And that's it. Your marker is now gassed up. So same story as before, pointing away from yourself and anybody else. Aim it either at the ground or up at the sky. I prefer the ground just because. And we're good. Okay, so those are some quick points you can use to just not necessarily troubleshoot, to just make yourself comfortable with your new gear when you get home. If you have any other questions pertaining to anything else you've picked up, you can drop us a line, you can give us a call, you can leave a comment below, you can message us on Facebook, you can shoot us an email, you can come into the store and ask any of our staff about it. This has been your friendly neighborhood tech saying, I really need to come up with a catchphrase.